If you're into spine-chilling horror stories and terrifying cryptid encounters, please like and subscribe to our channel. Now let's dive into the darkness with our first story. Story 1, The Midnight Hunt. In the isolated village of Ravenwood, shrouded in mist and mystery, tales of the Wolf of Ravenwood had long been whispered. This legendary werewolf was said to stalk the forest, hunting those who dared to venture out after dark. It was a story passed down through generations, a warning to stay within the safety of the village boundaries at night. Jack, Emily, and Tom, a trio of adventurous friends, were drawn to the legend like moths to a flame. One crisp autumn night, they decided to test their bravery. Armed with flashlights, a camera, and a sense of youthful invincibility, they ventured into the forest, the fog swallowing their forms as they moved deeper into the unknown. The forest was a labyrinth of gnarled trees and dense undergrowth. Every snap of a twig and rustle of leaves seemed amplified in the eerie silence. Their nerves were already frayed when they stumbled upon a clearing. In the center stood a dilapidated cabin, its windows broken and door hanging off its hinges. The air inside was thick with the scent of decay. Exploring the cabin, they found ancient, blood-stained tools and a large rusted trap. Clumps of fur and dried blood hinted at the horrific events that had taken place there. The air grew colder, and an unsettling silence enveloped them. Suddenly, a howl pierced the night, echoing through the trees. Their blood ran cold as they realized they were not alone. Panic set in, and they bolted from the cabin, but the fog disoriented them. Emily tripped, and as Jack and Tom helped her up, they saw it, a hulking figure with glowing yellow eyes standing at the edge of the clearing. The werewolf's growl rumbled through the air, a terrifying blend of animalistic rage and supernatural menace. The creature charged, and they ran for their lives, the beast hot on their heels. The forest seemed to twist and turn, trapping them in a maze of terror. Desperate, they followed Jack's lead, running towards a ravine. With no other option, they jumped, landing hard on the other side. The werewolf skidded to a stop, snarling at them from the opposite bank before disappearing into the fog. They stumbled back to the village at dawn, bruised and terrified. The once adventurous trio was forever changed by their encounter. They vowed never to speak of the night again. But the legend of the Wolf of Ravenwood grew stronger, casting a long shadow over the village. No one dared enter the forest after dark, and the howls in the night served as a chilling reminder of the terror that lurked in the woods. Story 2, The Blood Moon, New Orleans, a city alive with music and mystery, held within it an old mansion, abandoned and decaying. Locals called it the House of Blood, where a vampire queen once ruled with an iron fist, draining the life from those who crossed her path. Though vanquished a century ago, her spirit was said to be restless, waiting for the blood moon to rise again. On the night of the blood moon, a group of thrill seekers, led by the fearless Samantha, decided to spend the night in the mansion. Armed with candles and a Ouija board, they set up in the grand parlor, its once opulent decor now covered in dust and cobwebs. The air was thick with tension as they began their séance. Midnight struck, and the Ouija board moved on its own, spelling out a chilling message. "I am here." The temperature dropped and the candles flickered ominously. Samantha felt a cold hand on her shoulder and turned to see a pale, beautiful woman with eyes like rubies. The vampire queen had returned. Her voice was a whisper, seductive and deadly, filling the room with an unnatural chill. She spoke of her hunger, her longing for revenge. The friends were entranced, unable to move as she approached them, her eyes glowing with a malevolent light. One by one, they fell under her spell, drawn to her beauty and power. Samantha, the last to succumb, fought with all her might. She grabbed a silver candlestick and struck the queen, who shrieked in pain. The spell was broken, and the group snapped out of their trance. Desperation took over as they tried to escape. The mansion seemed to come alive, doors slamming shut, trapping them inside. They managed to break a window and flee into the night, the queen's laughter echoing in their ears, promising her return when the next blood moon rose. They escaped into the streets of New Orleans, their faces pale and their bodies trembling. The encounter left them forever scarred, and the mansion's legend grew. The House of Blood stood as a grim reminder of the vampire queen's wrath, warning others of the danger that lurked within its decaying walls. Story 3, The Return of John Doe. In the quiet town of Millfield, the legend of John Doe, an infamous serial killer, was told to scare children into behaving. Executed decades ago, his spirit was said to haunt the town, seeking revenge on those who had wronged him. Every year on the anniversary of his death, strange occurrences plagued the town. Pets disappeared, people reported hearing footsteps in empty rooms, and the air felt colder. This year, a group of teenagers, skeptical of the legend, decided to test their courage. They broke into the old prison where John Doe was held, now a crumbling ruin. Armed with only their phones for light, they ventured into the depths of the building, their laughter fading into nervous silence. As they explored, they found John Doe's cell, its door hanging open. Inside, they discovered an old journal filled with disturbing drawings and notes about his victims. The temperature plummeted, and their breath fogged the air. Footsteps echoed down the hallway, growing louder and more menacing. Panic set in, and they tried to leave, but the corridors twisted and turned, leading them deeper into the prison. The footsteps grew louder, accompanied by a low, menacing laugh. They stumbled into the execution chamber, where the electric chair still stood. The air crackled with energy, and they saw him, John Doe, his eyes burning with hatred, his spectral form flickering. He lunged at them, and they scattered, each finding a different exit. They ran blindly through the halls, John Doe's laughter echoing in their ears. One by one, they made it out, collapsing on the ground outside, gasping for breath. They vowed never to return, but the legend of John Doe's restless spirit grew stronger. The prison stood as a grim monument to his reign of terror, and the townspeople avoided it, fearing the wrath of the undead serial killer. The chilling tales of those who dared to enter served as a stark warning to anyone considering testing the legend. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed these terrifying tales. Stay tuned for more spine-tingling stories.